Tonight is that night that we have all been waiting for. And once again, my name is Pikachu Pauline. So today we are in the event called the Empower Her. And this is a virtual event held every month. This is the August edition of the Empower Her. And in this edition, we are talking about elevate your esteem and lead with confidence. So we are not just talking about any kind of woman. We're talking about the Deborah kind of woman. We are talking about women who have been suffering from low self-esteem, who have not been part of what is going on even in their society.
It's our duty as we are building our own self-confidence. Maybe you have lost yours. Maybe you're trying to bring it back. Maybe you don't even know anything about it, or you have it already. Know that it's our duty as mother, as wife, as women to help our children, people around us build their self-confidence. You need to know that self-love is one thing that you need to do, you need to have as a woman or as a woman or women of high self-esteem. Value yourself. Can you say after me? I will value myself. And if you value yourself already, can you say after me? I, Temitope, value myself. Say it, I value myself once again. When you love yourself, people will love you. Respect yourself. When you show respect to yourself, people out there will respect you. Are you sad? Are you sorrowful? Oh, a woman of good self-esteem will be happy. If you present yourself as somebody that have a very low self-esteem, people will see you that way. But if you are somebody that carry herself like I'm a child of the Almighty, when you carry yourself with the love, with the grace you carry, then people will see you for who you are. Another one is confidence. Have faith in what you do. Be confident in whatever you do. Are you a student? Are you a married woman? Are you single? Are you a career woman? Are you a business woman? Whatever you are, have faith in what you do. And be courageous in your ability and capability of what you are doing. Don't devalue the work of your hand. Don't devalue what you're doing. If you devalue yourself, people will devalue your product. If you devalue yourself, people will devalue you. If you devalue yourself, people will devalue your worth. If you devalue yourself, people will see you down instead of being whole. Imagine the way you call your product. If you tell people that my product is beautiful, they will help you say our product is beautiful. People should know where you're strong, not where you are weak. Present your strong point first, not your weaknesses. Let them know she's good at this, at that. So when they know your strong point, then when they see your weaknesses, they will see your strong point first to overcome the weakness. But most of us, we show people our weaknesses first. Imagine you putting on a dirty clothes outside. People will not look at what you got inside. They will look at your appearance first. So we all need to do that. Self-doubt kills. Self-doubt take you down. Self-doubt make you lose a lot of things, opportunities. According to my story, after he interviewed me, he called some other people to come again and interviewed me, the HR and stuff like that. And it said one thing. He said, I want to interview her, second interview. Maybe you guys will see what I'm saying. What did he see? I don't know what he saw. But one thing is, I know, even though I think I don't have the knowledge of what to do in accounting department, I have the confidence that I am bold enough to work in the PR and marketing department. By the favor of God, I got a job. Do not compare yourself with no one. When you do that, there's some things that can come out of that negative self-talk. I don't think I can do it. My mates are getting this. I'm not getting this. I don't think I can get it. Negative self-talk reduces self-esteem, reduces your confidence, right? It makes you look as if you're a failure. Negative self-talk bring you down. Negative self-talk can destroy your product, can destroy you, and can also destroy your future. Negative self-talk is what we all need as a woman, right? We need as women to stop. Negative self-talk will not take you nowhere. It will not take you anywhere. Learn how to say all good things to yourself and about yourself. I'm sure I can do it. Yes, I'm very bold. I am strong. I can do it. Even when you think you cannot do some stuff, don't just talk yourself down. Don't forget what I said. Don't compare yourself with people. When you start doing that, you start bringing out negative self-talk about yourself because you are comparing yourself to other people. It was tough, but I got it. I got it. I set goals to have businesses. Of course, it failed. I failed so many times. I failed when I did in Nigeria. I got to the US, some of them failed again. But I didn't relent. I didn't stop. No, I am unstoppable. If I send an email to you, you will see it under my email. I am unstoppable. It doesn't matter who has gone before me. I am coming. I am unstoppable. Do you know why? You are the only one that can stop yourself. Nobody can stop you in achieving your goals. Nobody can stop you in making progress. Nobody can stop you in succeeding. You are the only enemy of yourself that can stop achieving your goals, that can stop you from achieving your goals, that can stop you from getting up there, that can stop you from making progress. You are the only one that can stop yourself. Set a smart goal for yourself. Smart goals. Goals that are achievable, that are time bound. Set goals. Don't just sit down and be talking. Be a doer. Don't just be talking. And they call me Jackie. I'm not Jackie. I just want to achieve some goals before I get to an age in my life. Yeah, I told my friend, I have to do some things before I get to a certain age. And that's why I'm putting all effort as God give me the grace to do. Set smart goals. Achievable goals. Goals that are time bound. Not just write a expository essay. No, it's not about writing essay. It's about you having short goals and long goals. Have a time frame for everything you want to do. You want to go back to school? Give yourself time between 1 to 2 years. You want to do a business? Say within this time to this time, I want to make sure I've achieved this and this and this. And if you don't achieve those things at that time frame, it's not the end of life. Pick it up again, add it to another goal you have, and continue pushing it up. Some people keep talking, but they are not acting. I believe in the word of God in the Bible. It says, love yourself. Love your neighbor rather as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. That means the first thing is you love yourself first before you love your neighbor. Because it says, as yourself. That the way you love yourself. So treat yourself as you treat other people. Love yourself as you love other people, because this will not make you to devalue yourself, because you will not devalue yourself if you don't devalue other people. So love yourself in everything you do. In conclusion, confidence does not mean you are perfect. Confidence at home, at work, in your job, in your career, whatever you find yourself, doesn't mean you're perfect. You know one thing? It's about you accepting yourself for who you are.
Hello, 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 a very beautiful, beautiful evening. It's really an amazing time, and today being Sunday, it has been so good. And I must tell you that yesterday was an amazing, amazing time. So here is me saying, welcome to day two of the Emergence conference. And I want to make you understand that this is one event that happens every month. Yes, it happens every month. And this is the day two for the August edition. My name is Dikachi Pauline, and I have the pleasure of being your anchor this evening. And so, this is me welcoming you to Emergence Conference. Empower her, elevate your esteem, and lead with confidence. Yesterday, we had a very amazing time. In fact, it was an enthralling one because the person who spoke to us by name, Mr. Mitokwe Oyewole, she enhanced and expounded on so many things concerning how to build your confidence as a lady, and not just as a lady, but as an individual. So, whether you're a lady or you are a male or you're a female, whichever gender, this is not about the gender thing. However, we are focusing on the ladies in this year's edition. So this is me saying welcome, welcome, and welcome. And here I just want to pinpoint one or two things, that I picked out from yesterday. Yesterday was quite an amazing time. Not just amazing, but it's helped a lot of us, think about all that we had to do and all we can do to become that same person of value, that person that stands out in every crowd, that person that leads with confidence. So, welcome to day two of the Emergence Conference. And so, let's just go ahead. I'll be talking about how and what the Emergence Conference starts or stands for, because this, with the theme Empower Her, Elevate Your Esteem, and Lead with Confidence, the mission of Perfecting, which is under the Perfecting Womanhood Initiative. And the Perfecting Womanhood Initiative, the mission is to empower African women to embrace their uniqueness in Christ, to embrace their uniqueness in Christ. And that is one beautiful thing that I want each and every one of us to learn even today. And so, this is me once again welcoming you to day two. If you're excited as I am, I want you to put it out in the comment section. If you're as excited as I am, okay, I can see Amarachi, I can see Juliet, Amarachi Weibo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have each and every one of us here. So, if you're as excited as I am, put it in the comment section. Let's see that energy. Let's see that energy. It's been an amazing time. Yes, it's been an incredible time, even yesterday. And so I'll just be going over what happened yesterday because, like I told you, I have my notebook and my pen, of which I am going to still be learning. There is no end to learning. There is never an end to learning. Welcome, peace. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you here. And so there's no end to learning. And so I'll be picking up one or two things that our speaker, Mrs. Temi Tokwe Oyewole, being a mental health coach, she brought us to an understanding that if you must lead with confidence, first of all, you must believe in yourself. Yes, you must believe in yourself. It's not just all about if you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. That's just the plain truth. That is just the plain truth. And also, she made us to understand that the world will appreciate you if you appreciate yourself and having confidence even in your challenges, dealing with self-doubt. I mentioned it yesterday that some persons have issues with when someone makes a compliment or says, oh, your dress looks so nice, oh, you look so beautiful, oh, you're so fine, and all that. People don't get to, they say, oh, maybe I bought this a long time ago, it doesn't look so nice. My dear, when someone compliments you, the first thing, this is me, I am teaching now. The first thing that should come out of your mouth is what? Thank you. Don't tell us the history of that attire. Don't tell us the history of anything. Don't give us that history. We don't need it. Just say thank you. Appreciate yourself. Accept compliments. Also, another thing is also learning about your weaknesses, but focusing on your strengths. And so, if you want to learn more, you can actually listen to day one of the Emergence Conference, August edition. And so, this is me welcoming you to day two. I am so excited. Like, I don't know, but I'm so, so pumped up today. I could tell you that. And so, we'll be having a very, very, I call him, in fact, he is more than just an eagle. Yes, he's more than just an eagle. He's the lion. And I can tell you this because our father is the lion of the tribe of Judah. Yes. And if you believe that, if you believe saying, I want you to know that this is a point where you get to listen attentively. But before then, I am going to be reading out everything about him, or rather, his profile. This person I'm talking about isn't just um, a kind of speaker that you can just meet. This is someone who has raised other leaders, even in different fields. And I can tell you, having worked with him over time, in especially the Ubon King Foundation, it has been back to back, back to back impact. And I can tell you, you are not ready for what is coming for you this evening. You are not ready for what is coming for you. I remember yesterday, if you remember, we mentioned something about having affirmations, words of affirmations. And yes, before we started yesterday, we had our words of affirmation. And yes, today we're still going to maintain that culture of having our words of affirmation. Before I go over to the profile of our amazing speaker, an incredible speaker for tonight, and then the stage goes up to him. And so, yes, before I go into that, let's do our tradition. And our tradition is to read and to affirm effectively. And do this with me. If you're ready, put it in the comment section that you're ready for me. I am so pumped up. Like, my energy is on a very high level this evening. I don't know, but this I don't want to go ahead and expound myself, but I know that what is coming for us this evening is something very strongly impactful, very strongly impactful. And so, affirm with me. And the affirmation words are: I trust myself and my abilities, and I make decisions with confidence and clarity. I am worthy of love, respect, and success, and I celebrate my unique strengths and talents. I release self doubt and embrace my inner power. I release self-doubt. Sorry, let's take that again. I release self-doubt and embrace my inner power, leading with courage and authenticity. I am enough exactly as I am, and I shine my light for the world to see. I choose to focus on my strengths and not my weaknesses, and I rise above limitations with resilience and determination. Once again, I rise above limitations with resilience and determination by the help of God. This is our affirmation for our August edition. And so, even as we have affirmed this, I want you to hold it strongly in your heart, because the world we are in, remember, the world was created by the word of the mouth. Yes, by the word of God. And so, as we are standing, even in this world, even in this universe, is also standing because of God's word. And so, confess these words to yourself, affirm yourself daily, and remember, this is not a time for you to speak ill of yourself for any reason. And so, This is the time for me to welcome our second speaker for the day two of the Emergence Conference. I will be reading his profile briefly before he comes up on stage. Mark Idiahi is an inspirational leadership coach, brand and communication strategist. His career vision is to be involved in assessing the need for acquiring and implementing revolutionary strategies and systems for top-notch performance in organizations through exceptional leadership approach. Akin is Akin to this is the deployment of enterprise technologies that will optimize customer experience across all channels. He helps individuals and businesses alike to maximize their leadership potential for positive results. Mark Idahi is a social enterprise developer, a leadership mentor, and sought after speaker on topics related but not limited to leadership, governance, growth, and collaborative development. He is the publisher of a foremost Pan African magazine called the African Future Leadership Magazine. He convenes one of Nigeria's biggest leadership conferences and award ceremony, by name the Future Leadership Conference and Awards. He is an established author. He put together various events and projects as a pivot step in helping leaders and organizations define and refine their work, share their knowledge, and make helpful connections in a vendor neutral way. Mark Idahi is a certified chartered strategic manager from Chartered Institute of Strategic Managers and Leaders and a fellow of the Institute of Corporate and Public Administrators of Nigeria. He's reputed for quoting, "Be phenomenal or be forgotten." He is the founder of the Second Chance Care Foundation, an NGO that is focused on prisoners' reformation and rehabilitation. Mark Idahi is a recipient of many awards: Partial Listen, Roycon Impact Awards 2019, Southwest Nigeria Outstanding Leadership Award 2020, Honorary African Peace Award 2021, Rainbow Entrepreneurship Award 2021, Celebrating the Unseen 2019, African Leadership and Entrepreneurship Award 2022, Custodian of Faith Award 2023. And among this, he has massive influence with his words on most online networks, and his works are inspired by the Holy Spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me welcoming our incredible speaker for today, by name Ambassador Mark Idiahi. You're welcome. If you're ready, put it up in the comments. Put it up in the comments. Welcome back from that very short break. And so, yes, if you are as excited as I am, many of us are not excited. As I'm not seeing your comments. If you're as excited as I am, I want you to put it up in the comment section and say, "I am ready for what is coming. I am ready for what is coming. I am ready for what is coming." All right, without so much ado, I want you with all the energy that you have to welcome our ambassador, Dr. Mark Idiahi. A big welcome. Put it up in the comment section. Put a fire emoji. Welcome him. Welcome him. Welcome him. This is so big. This is so big. And so, in few words, I want to tell you that because of this particular event happening in August, yes, this August edition of the Emergence Conference, I want you to make up your mind. For me, like I told us yesterday, get your pen and your paper. Get your, no, not paper. No, not paper. Not paper this time. Get your pen and your jotter because what is coming for you? It's huge and it's big. So, a big welcome, welcome, welcome to you, sir. So good to have you. So good to have you here, Ambassador Dr. Mark Idiahi. We are so, so excited and super pumped to have you with us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Good evening. Can you? Am I able?
Yes, we can hear you, but it's a bit. We're just having probably it's a network or something. It's cracking a
Thank you
little.
so much. Want to switch from one network provider to another one. So I don't know if this is all now. Can you hear me? Am I on?
Okay. So sorry about that. Apologies about that. You know how things can actually be. It's for some period of time it's been a mess. But then I want to also let me just before we come out again, I want to also just brief us concerning yesterday by Mrs. Temitokwe Oyewole. Remember what she mentioned yesterday about being one person of value. If you don't see yourself as a valuable person, definitely nobody will see you as one. In fact, there were persons that previously I used to learn that perspective is reality. And sincerely speaking, perspective sometimes can be reality. So I remember one time I had a little challenge with picking a name, not just a username for my social media accounts because I believed in uniformity. On all my social media accounts, I have only one name, and you can only find that name. That's Dikachi Pauline. Is all on my social media account. What made me do this? Because I came to an understanding. People were finding it difficult to also know what I answered. But then I stood my ground, and on this name, I have built so much value. So, welcome back. Welcome back, Dr. Mark. So good
Thank
to
you.
see
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
So good
Thank
to
you.
see you
Thank
tonight.
you.
So glad
Thank
that the
you.
network is good now. I'm so pumped up
Yes.
tonight. We can't wait to receive all the
Yeah.
fire that will be coming from you tonight. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so very much. We're going to take it easy this evening. Easy, because I want this thing to sink. First of all, let me begin by thanking you for all that you do. Every time you host this event, how that you just basically bring life. You're the life of the party, honestly. And I want to thank you for that. Thank you for being so amazing. And for the
Thank
host, the brain behind this, thank you for inviting me. If you know what it takes for me to have to come here today, you understand that life is about making sacrifice, okay? And I want to thank my friend, MOG himself, Pastor Bolaji. He was on me and I couldn't help but just show up here this evening. Thank you so very much. I'm glad to be here. Let's just get to it. And this is something I'm very passionate about because of what I do as a person, because of what I'm involved in. It has to do with being able to communicate and communicate effectively. This evening, very quickly, I'm going to be talking to you about effective communication, finding confidence to speak. And first of all, let's cut to the chase. What is communication? When you hear communication, what comes to your mind? Communication simply is the ability to transfer, to deliver information. And how you do that eventually is what determine if it is effective communication or not. You see that? So everybody communicates. Everybody says something. Everybody's saying something. And your car is speaking. Your bank account speaks too. Everything, both animate and inanimate. Everybody's speaking. But it's not everybody that is making sense. It's not everybody that is being listening to. It's not everybody that commands attention. And if you live in this world, you have to be able to be a person that communicates and communicates succinctly. You have to be that person who can communicate value. You have to be that kind of person who brings something to the table. Wanting to bring something to the table is another thing to be able to communicate what you bring to the table. So very quickly, I hope, like Dikachi said, you have your pen and your jotter, not just a notebook, all right? Because I have quite a number of things I want to be able to pass across to you very quickly, all right? In an attempt to lay a foundation for the topic in focus, I must hint you that the highest level of work creation is the communication of ideas and values. Let me let that sink. The highest level of work creation is the communication, the effective communication of values and ideas. And if you can't do this, you may be so gifted, so endowed, but yet you'll find yourself living a life of mediocrity simply because you are not able to effectively communicate that which you are and that which you have. Let's establish that, okay? So already we have also defined what communication is. Communication is simply the delivery of information, your ability to deliver information and to deliver it effectively. And how can you tell when your audience has received it, when your communication is effective? Number one, when whatever it is you're speaking about, all right, whatever it is you're talking about or you're presenting is received by your audience. All right. Now that is one. Then that is great. But the greatest of that is when they understand it and they are spot to action with whatever information you have across. Phone call wanted to interrupt this conversation, so I have to reject it. So you understand what I mean? So it's one thing to be able to communicate it and the people that you're communicating it to, because there are three levels of communication. I hope I can take all very. Now this person has to stop. This person just has to stop calling me now. All right. So number one, for you to be an effective communicator, you have to be number one. You have to be able to speak to. All right. You speak to speak to things, to speak to. We are called to speak to things. We are called to speak to life. For you to be an effective communicator, you have to be able to do all these three. If I have time, I will go deep into all the aspects of this communication where you have to be able to speak to. Then number two, you have to be able to speak with. As someone who is saddled with that responsibility of negotiation, as someone who wants to be able to persuade people, you have to master the art of being able to speak with. You see, you have to be a great conversationalist. You have to be able to speak with. All right. Now, I'll give you that. I'll leave that to for now, and let me quickly go to what I have put out here for you. Now, very quickly, a few questions just to set the tone again for what we want to talk about. Have you ever been in a room packed full of people and a speaker came in on stage and you felt like sleeping? You almost dozed off because for some reasons you couldn't make connection with what the person was saying. Have you ever found yourself there? Let me see your hand up. I may not see your hand, but you can just do that. Yes, it happens. It happened to me several times. Then, have you ever been in some place where somebody was making a speech or communicating and you were lost? And in your mind, you could tell that this person struggle with the right adjectives to communicate what he truly intended to communicate, the intent of his heart. He wanted to say something, but he struggled with the adjective. And that's where the filler comes in. And you know all the fillers, all right? In his being or in her being to communicate something. He's burning right in his heart, but somehow he just cannot make the connection or find the right words. We're going to look at how to, go about all of that this evening very quickly, okay? So, those two questions, you can relate to them, I believe. I believe you can relate to them. Now, lack of effective communication can lead to misunderstanding. Lack of your ability to communicate and communicate effectively can have a very bad effect on your bottom line. That is why I stated when we started that the highest level of wealth creation is the communication of ideas and values. Tomorrow I'm going to be having a meeting with a top CEO in an organization. I'm supposed to be pitching idea to the person. God sees my heart, right? God knows that, oh, this idea is so ingenious. This idea has got the capacity to impact the world. All right? God sees it. He knows that he has given me this gift. He knows that this thing that I want to talk about truly can transform nations. That's one thing. But it's another thing for me to be able to hit the floor tomorrow and I'm given the opportunity to make the pitch or the speech. I'm able to communicate effectively in such a way they say, hey, this is the man for the job. All right? So this is critical. And one of the things that hampers or limits people in being able to communicate effectively is the lack of confidence. This is where confidence comes in all of this. So if you don't have confidence in yourself, you're going to struggle to communicate because there's no way you can have boldness. There's no way you'll be able to command that level of affluence without boldness. And where does boldness come from in all of this? Number one, write this down. You have to know your audience. All right? You have to what? Know your audience. So if I were to put it in another way, I would say ways to improve effective communication. Number one, I said what? Know your audience. You have to be so good. I mean, you have to be someone who is vast with depth, who knows what he wants to talk about. You have to be someone that is good in research. You have to be someone that, you don't want to be effective. You cannot even be an effective communicator if all you do is devote the last chunk of your time to the peripherals, for instance. If you are going to speak about a subject, just like I was supposed to come speak about this, you don't just stroll in here with the, you know what, I know it, I can, what is that, communication, effective communication? No, you want to be able to study. The scripture said, study to show yourself approved unto God. You see that? Study to what? Show yourself approved. Approval comes from studying, being studious. Validation comes from being studious. Approval and endorsement will come from what? The depth of knowledge that you know, one, then your ability to communicate that. Your ability, the gift of God, nobody was born a communicator. We all learn to communicate. All right? So number one, I said what? Know your audience. Know it's so good that they can tap you in the night and your mouth open. I said to people, when you open your mouth, the real you shows up. When you open your mouth, you tell the world what stuff you're made of. You see that? So you have to so know your audience that you can literally speak unconscious. I told my son that mastery is when you can do conscious things unconsciously. Oh boy, I love that now. I love that. Mastery is when you can do the mundane, the regular things, and even the difficult things, whatever it is that you do unconsciously. Now, I don't say this to advocate for this. I'm so good in driving. I love driving so good. It's one of those things I used to fantasize about until I started driving. Then I started driving. Now I drive so good that I can almost send an email while driving. Don't do this. Don't do this. I'm not advocating for this. I don't do that just like that. But when I have to, I can drive unconsciously and be doing other things, and I'll still be driving. Now, a lot of people can do this and they will get into an accident and cause chaos and the rest of them. I'm not advocating for this. I said it right, but I'm just trying to use this as an analogy. Now, when you can do what you do from a position, from that vantage position where you do it unconsciously, you have achieved what is mastery. Pretty much the same way, like I just said, there's no single one of us that was, that guy was born with the gift of gap. I mean, he can speak so good. No, we learned it. You learned it. I would tell you, based on my experience, one of the easiest way I was able to develop, I'm still developing myself. I love what Descartes said. You see, when you stop learning, there's no one who can outgrow learning. We still try to, every day, we find how to improve and sharpen our skill and become a better version of ourselves, right? But let me tell you, I'm coming back to the point I've highlighted. Number one, I said, remember what I said. You have to know your onions. Become so good at whatever it is that you do that they can tap you in the night without any hesitation. You open your mouth and you will just go like that. Do you understand? Now, one of the ways I was able to develop confidence personally was that I learned to listen to very great communicators. Or if I have time, I'll begin to list out the names of people that really help to shape my. See, it's not that you won't make mistakes. Now, when we talk about communication, we're not talking about how just vision and the construction. We are talking about how you can be able to speak and make connection with people, because that's where the real communication is. Your ability to make connection with people. You go for sales and you're able to persuade people. You see that? You see, you can't even be an effective leader if you can't communicate the vision. You have to be able to. How in the world was Moses in the Bible able to convince the people that they should follow him to the promised land? That's leadership and affluence. How in the world were people like Adolf Hitler, convinced the people and got people to sign up with him to annihilate 6 million Jews? How did he do it? And he was able to convince. See, let me tell you something. This worked for the good and worked for the bad on both sides. Somebody like Osama bin Laden had people working with him, and he convinced him that the best way to go to heaven was to have this bomb fastened to their body, and once they detonate it, the whole place blows up, and they get to go to heaven, and people die, and they'll be given virgin. All this kind of stuff. Even the evil people are able to communicate this and leverage on this effective communication to get things done. So the painful thing is that people that they have real, genuine idea, altruistic ideas, germane ideas that have the capacity to transform nations, transform life, impact nations, are they not able to communicate these ideas to get the kind of collaborations and sponsorship? Because there's nothing you can do, there's nothing significant you can achieve in life if you are not able to communicate and communicate effectively, whether you're a pastor or an imam or you're a stylist or it doesn't matter the sector, the niche. You just have to be good at this. Absolutely good at it. And like I said, like I hinted, you don't have to be born with the gift of God. So I'm going to list out some of the things that I did that has helped to shape and help to make me, I shouldn't want to say a good communicator or, well, a better communicator to communicate effectively. I was invited to speak to local government chairman in Lagos. There's this retreat that they had, and I was a guest speaker. So when I was done, the chairman was accusing, he was so angry with the guy who was moderating the session. I said, why did they allot just 35 minutes for my presentation? That he saw that I was in a hurry and could not really, I was trying to restrain myself from going deep on some of the concepts that I was sharing with them and asked if I could come back. So when I left, the guy had to chat me up and ask if I could come back and all of that, but I wasn't going to come back because there was some politics at play out there. But the bottom line is, for every time you have opportunity to speak. Now, let me quickly tell you what I did that made him want to hear more. He was glued to me. And they said, this chairman, when they have had several people come to stage and do the presentation, and he will be busy with his phone, taking calls and going out and trying to attend to stuff. But when it was my turn, he was glued to me and he wanted it. He was literally sucking it in. And why was that? Because, number one, I have to be able to reference cases that he could relate with. What did I say? I was able to reference cases and scenarios that he could relate with. See, I didn't want to sound off. Do you understand? Now, that is me also re-emphasizing that number one again, which is know your onions. So, going back again. Now, taking it back because I'm struggling to leave this place, maybe because of one or two persons. So, number one, I started listening to great communicators. All right. I said, I don't have time for the peripherals. Anything that don't have any value, that cannot enhance my value, I don't have time. I don't have time to scroll on Instagram and just listen to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I want to make sure that my time is well utilized. So I will have podcasts that I listen to. I'll have people that I listen to. I mean, on the go. I learned that from my mentor of blessed memory. See this thing on my ear? I couldn't be going anywhere without it. You see, because I don't want distraction. I have to make sure that these things are fastened to my ear. I hear, because you become anything you eat. Now, let me reference one of his quotes. Anything you eat, you continue to eat, will eventually eat you up. Anything you eat, and you continually eat, feed on. We are all products of what we have consumed. If you listen well, you will speak well. Write that down. If you didn't write anything else, write that down. If you listen well, you will speak well. So I mastered the art of just listening, devoting large chunk of my time to listening. Listen to very great communicators. If I want to listen to radio, I don't have time for Wazobia. There's nothing wrong with listening to Wazobia. Don't get me wrong, but that's not what I want. I want to listen to radio stations where the communicator, the people that are anchors the program are so good. They are so good in communicating. I get to listen to how they pronounce words. I get to be able to listen to their diction. I get to be able to listen to their mannerism. They are not everything. Now, you can't say they have non-verbal communication because you can only listen, so you don't know what their body disposition and all of that is, because we are going to get to know verbal communication in all of this, okay? Now, see, I listen and I read books. I become a bookworm. I will read and read and read. Now, when I couldn't sit down in one place to read books, I make sure I get the audio version of it. I want to listen to them on the go while I'm driving, because I get to drive a lot. I spend a lot of time in the car, so I have to turn my car into some mini library kind of, where I put in stuff and I just listen. I listen and I listen and I listen, so that the next time I got to open my mouth, I'm not sounding like somebody. Do you understand? You get that now? So you have to be a master listener. Listening to people helps to build rapport. When you have a conversation with someone, for instance, and the person is busy with his phone, that already passes a message to you that this may not be important. I just got off the phone, a WhatsApp call with Charles Otido. I don't know many of you know him. If you can't talk about brand communication in this country without Charles Otido name popping up. And while we were on the Zoom call, no, it was on WhatsApp video call, and I only just shifted my eye away because I wanted to get somebody's attention to attend to somebody in the company. And he said to me, hey, don't do that. He's my mentor, you know. He can remind me of little things. And he said to me, hey, Mark, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. He said, when you're speaking to a client, listen to this. He said, when you're speaking to anyone, make sure your eyes are fixated on them. Make sure your eyes are what? Fixated. Keep your phone aside. Keep away every form of distraction and make sure that your eyes are making contact. And he said, you know what? When you do that, you're making the person feel important. And number two, you're making the person feel that you are the man for the job. You're ready. You are, I have your attention. You have my attention. You have my attention. Don't get distracted. You see that? So when you master the art of listening to people, what you're doing is that you're building a rapport, and that rapport can, lead to respect and elicit interactive communication with people. Because you have to be someone who can interact with people. You don't want to be a one-way traffic kind of speaker that just come and just dump it on the people. You want people to make connection. You want people to be able to speak back to you. You can listen to someone and you are not able to interact with them. And true communication is of the heart. Write this down. True communication is of the heart. True, genuine communication that is effective has to be your ability to make connection with the heart of the people. Are you getting this? True, genuine, effective communication is your ability to make connections with people. Oh my goodness, I could never be in a room or with anybody and I'll be speaking and the person would just be like, no. It couldn't be. It couldn't happen. Because you know what? I want to first of all find out who is this person? What are his background? What case scenarios can I draw inference from that he can relate with? Have you ever been speaking to someone, the person, yes. It's like speaking to a pilot or with a pilot. I told you about different types, speaking to and speaking with, and I left the third one for now. Now, imagine you're speaking with a pilot and you're beginning to make references to all the aviation and all the history, making reference to the Wright brothers that invented the aeroplane, and you're trying to weave your conversation around the things that he can relate with. Now, that's going to be one heck of a great conversation. Do you know why? Because he can relate with it. It's relatable. You see? It's relatable. And I tell you, if you flip the card and you go and start discussing the rainy season, farm, and the planting season with a pilot, he's going to feel disconnected because you're not making, that's not my call. That's not my call. So your ability to make connection with people has to do, first of all, you have to know, top point, know your audience, know your audience, have the ability, listening, master the art of listening, become a great listener. Number three, know your audience. You need to know who those people are. Can you relate to their background? Can you make connection? See, now, I'm a man of faith, and I don't apologize for making references to scenarios in the Bible. Jesus found himself with his disciples, and he ate with them, drank with them. Do you think because, they actually called him a glutton. They said he's gluttony. This man just eats anyhow, That was their way of, what an aberration. They didn't get the point. Jesus was trying. In fact, he practically stooped down. You cannot be an effective communicator until you are able to stoop down. Don't speak to people from your high horse. You have to be able to stoop down. You got to learn and master stoop down, come to their level. He drank and ate with them. What does that say? What is that saying? What does that speak of? It speaks of your ability to make connection with the people, because until they can trust you, they cannot listen to you. Because we have a lot of speakers. People can speak. Everybody can speak. Because they say, like what they say, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And where does caring comes in now, that's where empathy comes in. Because we have not an high priest that is not touched with the feelings of our infirmity. Can you make connection with the pains? Okay, you are teaching organizational management in this training. Do you know what the pain point is in the company? Do you know what they're going through? Have you bothered to research about where they are and the problem they're trying to solve with the training in the retreat? so that there can be a tailor-made solution that addresses the problem. You see that? Number 4, be mindful of your body language. Your mouth could be saying one thing and your body is saying something totally different. You see that? Be mindful of your body language. This is something you have to master because there is such a thing known as non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication. You could be saying one thing and your body is saying something else. There has to be a synchrony between what you're saying and your gestures, and how you move your body around, your facial expression, everything has to be in alignment. You have to practice it. Stand before the mirror, just like I have here, and speak to yourself. You can't speak to no one else until you can speak to yourself. I learned to preaching to myself in the bathroom. You cannot effectively be able to speak to anyone else until you can speak to listen, if you cannot inspire yourself, you cannot inspire anyone else. You have to inspire yourself. And you can tell if you're truly inspire yourself. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you speak to yourself, spirit don't lie. You are a spirit being. Spirit don't lie. So you can look at yourself in the mirror and you speak to yourself and you can tell. Oh my goodness, before you go for that speech presentation, first pitch the idea to yourself. Before you go out and preach to this crowd, first preach it to yourself. Because the number one person to lead and to inspire is yourself. You cannot inspire anyone until you are inspired. On my status on WhatsApp, I said the highest level of leadership is the ability to inspire other people. Oh my goodness. You are just as dead as a walking corpse if you are not inspired. Have you seen someone that is not inspired? Leave the house in the morning, well dressed, beautiful cologne, shoe polished, and he goes on the road with his portfolio. And you thought he was going to some place that was important. And only for you to drive out and you see this guy arguing in the newspaper stand about the person that scored a goal between Arsenal and Chelsea 20 years ago. He's stuck. Oh my goodness, he's not an inspired soul. The worst companion to have in life are people that are not inspired. They are not inspirational. You got to find something that is so that you can be obsessive about. See, let me tell you something. Oh my goodness. Now I'm speaking to you from my heart. The notes are not even important. Let me say this to you. If you want to be truly a person that speaks from the heart, find something that is worth dying for. It doesn't matter how. Okay, listen. Some of you know T.B. Joshua, right? That man couldn't even put two English together when he started out, but there was something that consumed him, right? Whether you said it's fake or whatever, that's not what I'm after now. But there was something he was so obsessive about. Passionately, it took over him. What was it? To free people, to help people. And in his bid to do that, he had to find a way, just find a way to be better at communicating. And did he get better at it? Oh, sure. When he started out, you could laugh at him because he couldn't get it right. But somehow he had found something he was passionate about. The reason why you think that you can't communicate well is because you have not found an obsession. Oh, just like I found obsession. Do you know, as I was preparing to speak to you right now, an idea jumped on my heart concerning what we're already doing that we can improve on. And I almost wanted to jump up from here and say, let me get this thing. Let me write it down. See, listen, when I'm done with this, I have work to do. Now, listen, it doesn't matter. The reason why people think they can't speak is because there's no passion. They are not obsessed. They are not inspired. Because when you have that thing that's so important, that has to be delivered to the world, it wouldn't matter how long or what you need to do to get better at saying what you need to say to get the bus rolling in, because you know that your life depends on it. You see that? You understand that? You have to. So your non-verbal communication is important. It's critical. Number 5, understand that We are all living magnets. We attract what we radiate. We are all living magnets. Living magnets, you know what magnet does? It attracts all likes elements within. You prove it. So you must work on yourself. You have to be pumped up. Talking about inspiration, yeah, more or less, same thing like this. You have to be pumped. My mentor of blessed memory, I followed him around the nation when he speaks in Warri and speaks in Benue and Jos. And my hotel room, if I travel with him, my hotel room will always be next to his. Some of the greatest thing that happened to me working with Dr. Obonkin was my ability to monitor and to watch him closely and see what his routine was like. Because those things he said don't say. He wouldn't come online and start telling you how his morning ritual is like. But I saw this man wake up. I saw how he wakes up. I saw him wake up from the bed and he just go wide and run around the floor. I say things. You saw the affirmation. Now, the only thing I was missing in the affirmation that we had before the session was, you don't do affirmation like that. So on your own in the house, don't do it like that. See, you can turn this thing on. Just have to turn it on. You have to come alive. Do you understand? You have to scream it sometimes. At some other time, you have to shout and drown every contrary voice and imagination and thoughts that seek to want to demean you. And one of the ways to do that is to learn to scream. Some people just don't shout. You see, you need to master the art of learning to wake up in the morning. How do you wake up will determine how your day will go. What do you do first thing when you wake up in the morning? You want to be an effective communicator, understand that it has to do with the programming of your mind. Programming of your mind. Programming your day when you wake up. Affirmation you have to be very big on affirmation. You have to be very big on affirmation. All right? Number 6 now, you have to have a healthy self-esteem. The speaker that spoke yesterday, I believe she spoke extensively on that. Self-esteem. You have to love yourself because you can't love no one else unless you love yourself. You have to love. You have to love to hang out with yourself. You have to love to take yourself out for a treat. You want to treat everybody kindly. Have you treated yourself kindly? Because you can't give what you don't have. You have to learn to nurture yourself, nurture your mind. You have to learn to put something in your mind. Oh my goodness, don't waste time devoting the last chunk of your time to the mundane and end up in mediocrity. This world has to come to a place where they celebrate you. Somebody has to be glad that you showed up. Somebody has to be happy that you didn't quit. But because they couldn't have made it if you have quit it. Somebody has to be so glad and say, God, I thank you that you didn't give up when you should have. You see that? So you have to believe in yourself. Don't let nobody intimidate you. You have, oh boy, you are so valuable. You are so treasured. Despite the mind-boggling population there is in the world, there can be no one else like you. My goodness, don't you let no one make you doubt your essence and what you bring to the table. You definitely have something to bring to the table. And guess what? Oh, you are the table now. You know, some people are praying that God should give them platform. And then some time ago, God told me, you don't need no platform. You are the platform now. You are the platform. So don't you let nobody make you doubt your gift. Because some people, they have it, but they can't communicate it. They want to speak, but they can't speak. I don't know what the word they will say. I may make a mistake. I don't care. I don't care what you think about it. You see that? Have healthy self-esteem. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate yourself. Number 7, be brief. Be articulate. I love what about Aston said. He said, I'm going to paraphrase what he said. He said, make it simple, but not simpler. Make it simple. I just paraphrase what he said. Everything that he said is just that. Make it simple and not what? Simpler. Being simple doesn't mean that it has to be based, vain. No. Be concise and be precise. Eat it. Know what you want to say. Know what you want to say. All right? So, I truly hope that you'll take our time to reflect on some of those things we've said. I want to believe that this is not meant to drag for long, but just understand this. You cannot truly achieve anything that's significant in this life until you can master the art of effective communication. And it's not a rocket science, I must tell you. You can improve. I'm working on improving. I'm writing a book that will be launched during the conference this year. All right? And how can you even lead if you are not a reader? And how can you speak and speak well if you are not a good listener? It is possible. It is possible. So I hope you take time to go through this and reflect and meditate on this stuff and take actionable steps on what you can do to improve yourself. And I'll leave you with this last one. How can you retain the information? How do you retain your information? You cannot retain the information that you receive until that information becomes a part of you. And how can you make it a part of you? Teach it. If I've just listened to Visu, or if I've just listened to Bishop TBJs, now, not that I have to listen to them to teach because I'm looking for something to teach. No, I do that because that's the way I can retain what it is that I've learned, whatever it is that I've learned. Okay? So one of the ways you can retain the information to process it so that it can become a part of me is to teach it. If I learned a new concept and I want to apply that concept, I don't go and do the concept. I teach the concept. Oh, I don't know if you just if you got me there, but let me say that again. One of the ways I can retain a new concept, a new philosophy, whatever it is that I just learned, is not to go and practice by doing it, because sometimes you will lack the motivation to execute it. But you can learn it, imbibe it, and teach someone else. Every time you pass a knowledge, I like this one. Write this down. Every time you teach a knowledge, a principle, a concept, philosophy, ideology, you reinforce it internally. Every time you teach a concept, philosophy, a principle, whatever it is that you teach, you reinforce it internally. What does that mean? It becomes a part of you. It's ingrained. You don't have to struggle to remember it anymore. Now, I said that was the last one, but that's not the last one. This will be the last one. So I listened to Bishop Bismarck, and he said that one of the ways he learned to become a very good speaker was by studying the lexicon. I didn't get that. So you carry the dictionary and you're studying the dictionary. What do you mean? I don't get it. I don't get that. So now he explained further. And he said that the reason why a lot of people struggle with communication is because they lack words, the right adjective to communicate what they want to communicate. And he said for you to be a great communicator, you have to have words lined up in your thermometer, in your arsenal. For instance, somebody that does that so pretty well that I know is Bishop TBJs. Bishop TBJs can say one thing in 10 different ways so that no matter the level you are, you'll be able to pick it up. For instance, I want to say something is beautiful. He can use different 5 synonyms to describe something that is beautiful. That way, everybody, in the spectrum, with wherever you are, you're able to make connection with what he just said. So these people here, they emphasize whatever they are saying by using words. And how are they able to come up with these words? By studying words. You have to be someone that discovered new words. I used to have new words, vocabulary. In developing my vocabulary, my daughter does that, and I pass that on to her. Every day as you read, you come across new words. Don't just skip it. I don't understand. Skip it. No, don't skip it. Write it down. What does it mean? Check it out. The next time you're speaking to a fellow, use it. Like the first time, there are so many words over the years. You know, many words. I remember the first time I struggled with orchestration. I almost bite my tongue. What does that mean? Way back now, not now, many years. I'm just telling you. So now I check it out. Oh, okay. So I had a conversation with my friend the next day. I said, hey guys, it's so amazing how that God orchestrated things for me. Oh boy, say, this guy, you're speaking grammar now. No, it's not just being a grammarian now. I'm learning to improve my what? My communication, because I need a lot of words to communicate the right adjectives. You want to be you want to speak to kings and nations. You can't go there. You can't go to that stage and speaking. There's a way you have to. I happen to have the opportunity to interact with a lot of diplomats recently. I was with the ambassador of Indonesia, Indonesia ambassador to Nigeria, and I interviewed him. And I get to be able to meet people like that. I find out just how they communicate. There's some lingo. You understand? How do they call that word they use in a certain niche now? Call it jargons or whatever. There's a certain way they communicate in that place, so I have to learn it. How do they communicate here? So that you know what? Like I said, don't forget what I said. You cannot communicate effectively until you can make connection with the heart of the people that you're communicating with. For that to happen, you have to be speaking in terms and in relatable terms and being able to draw inferences with something and scenarios they can all relate with. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you that every single one of us can be effective communicator if we take our time to work on ourselves, if we know our audience, if we are great listeners, if we master the art of what, if we watch out and we are mindful of our body language and all the other things listed, all right, without confusing you. I hope I've been able to convince you that truly you cannot achieve significance in this world unless truly you are a great communicator. Thank you so very much. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. It's been an enlightening moment with you because there are different things and different personalities that I've come across, and truly I must tell you, communicating your existence, communicating your existence is one thing that stands you out amongst the crowd. And so this
Yeah.
is me saying thank you so much. I have few questions for you. I have
Oh,
few
okay.
questions
I'm
for you
here.
just before we wrap up. And so,
Okay.
just these questions first of all. Let me. For everyone listening to us, I hope see my book. I want to show you guys. I've been writing, and it's been an enlightening moment for me. So I just want to ask, because we find ourselves in a society. Yeah, we have the Gen Zs amongst us right now, and they are growing in their numbers, and it's becoming a little issue communicating even the right words. Sometimes they just use the stylish words. Sometimes they just want to, communicate just like that and expect you to actually understand. But now, because we are raising leaders in today's society, I want to ask now, Adia, since you've shared some practical, tips to all this, but I want to know what's the role of self-awareness, like in effective communication. What's the role? How well must you know yourself to know your own level of communication and to know the level that you
Wow.
can
I
also
think the network is
communicate that?
acting up again.
Can you hear me, please?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know my network was out. But can you hear me, please? If you can hear
Yeah,
me.
I can hear you now.
Oh,
Uh, uh,
okay.
yes. Mm.
Okay, thank you.
Self
So I was
aware,
asking,
yeah.
yes, what's the
Self
role of
awareness.
self-awareness? What role does it play, in effective communication? And how can individuals understand their own communication style so that they can adapt to different situations? Okay, yes, Mr. Mark, Dr. Mark, can you hear me, please? All right. All right. Probably we're having a little issue with network. Okay, thank you very much. So, just we are just about to wrap up for tonight. We're just waiting. We wanted to have a little question because I can tell you something. Effective communication is one very important aspect in leadership. If you cannot, just like our speaker said, if you cannot communicate the vision, you may end up just being with people who just like you, but they don't understand the vision. And with time, you will find out that they will just, just go to another place where they understand the vision and the leader is able to communicate the vision. And so, this welcome back, Dr. Mark.
Thank
Big
you.
welcome
Thank
back.
you. Thank you. Thank
All right.
you.
So yes, just briefly, you can just speak to us concerning
Mm.
the question I asked on what
Yeah,
role does
self awareness.
self-awareness play? Yes,
All
in
right.
effective communication.
Self awareness. What role does self awareness play in effective communication? Is very critical.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I have no idea what's going on. I have tried to switch from one internet provider to another.
Oh, it's entirely fine, sir. Okay. I think he's a bit out now. So just before we but just before he comes back again, let me share with us all I've learned. I don't stop sharing because I just know that a lot of persons, some persons might have joined late, some persons may have joined earlier on. So let me share with us what me personally am taking home tonight. And so he made us to understand that the highest level of wealth creation is the communication of value and ideas and sincerely. Let me whisper this. This is the truth. This is profound knowledge. Why? Because even if you have the best experts working for you, even if you have the skills, even if you have the talent, if you are not able to communicate your value or your idea to your audience, even on social media, I can tell you that no matter the how expensive the idea is, I can tell you it may, I'm sorry to say this, but it may go down with you. So, an effective communicator is one who is able to communicate ideas and value. Then there is another one I'm taking home too. Yet I'm going to be sharing all these things with us before I wrap up for the night. Okay, so being an effective communicator, you must speak the truth. Yes, you must speak the truth. A lot of people tell lies. A lot of people, speak about things that are not in existence. Some people paint images and all, but if you must be an effective communicator, then you must speak the truth. And there was something he said. He said, mastery is when you can take a conscious action unconsciously. So if you want to become good at effective communication, and like I said, this is a very important skill for every leader, male, female, wherever you are. Remember, our topic is elevate your esteem, elevate your esteem, and lead with confidence. And lead with confidence. And leading with that confidence means you have to be able to communicate your value, your vision, your idea to anyone and your followers and to anyone who desires to be impacted by your life. And so, last but not the least, just as he has listed several other things, for us, listening as a great communicator, learning from the experts, and all the rest, I can tell you one thing: being an effective communicator will definitely help you stand out. Many a time, what I do, especially when I want to learn a particular skill, when I want to learn how to do things, I remember when I started my hosting events early, I had to do something. I go on YouTube, I watch videos, rehearse in front of my mirror, do a lot of things. So if you're a leader in the room, in fact, as a Christian lady, I can tell you something, you're already a leader. You don't need to have so much crowd for you to lead. You don't need even your younger ones, your siblings, your nephew, your niece, you are leading them. So, this is a call for every one of us, male, female, big, small, old, young, anyone, Gen Z, millennial, whoever you are, this is the time where you call yourself and begin to speak to yourself. Many of us admire people who speak very well, but this is your opportunity to learn. This is a reminder that if you must be an effective leader, if you must be a great leader, you must learn how to communicate effectively. I do not want to wrap up this session because I'm so elated and I am so excited. So sorry that our speaker couldn't answer. It wasn't available to answer some of the questions that I had with me. But then it will be essential. You can drop your comments, you can drop your questions in the comment section if you're on Facebook, if you're watching us live on Instagram, or even on YouTube. You can as well drop your comments, and definitely we'll get to answer you. And so I am so I don't look sad, but then I'm sad that this is the day two and this is the end for the August edition of Empower Her, Elevate Your Esteem, and Lead with Confidence. So, just within 1 minute or two, we're going to be giving the mic over to the visionary for her to just speak briefly. She spoke to us yesterday, but for those of us who were not available yesterday, she will be speaking to us in few minutes. So just get ready for her and let her speak to us. So, without wasting so much of our time, I want to welcome the founder of the Perfecting Womanhood Initiative by name, Mrs. Deborah Kolade. So good to see you once again. So good to see you once again, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful, wonderful encore on this August edition. I'm grateful to you. And I'd like to also say a big thank you to Dr. Mark. That was a very enlightening session. I, I, I listened to it and I told myself I still have a lot to work on. I still have a lot to go. So I'm very grateful. It will
Definitely.
just be a brief, vote of thanks. I'm grateful to Dr. Mark. I'm grateful also to Mrs. Temitope, who was with us yesterday. Thank you so much for every single person who has joined in, either on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We are so grateful that you could dedicate your time and give us that few minutes or hours that you joined us. We're so grateful to that, and we would also like to inform you, as you already know, it's a monthly event. We'll be back here next month. Please always keep it a date with us, and you'll be glad you did. Thank you so much for coming out this evening or afternoon or morning. We're so glad you did, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, once again, the Emergence Conference, founded by Mrs. Deborah Colade, the mission is to empower African women to overcome cultural and religious barriers, enabling them to embrace their identity and purpose in Christ. So, with that, I just want to say we've come to the very end of August edition of the Emergence Conference. Empower Her, elevate your esteem and lead with confidence. So once again, we're going to be having this next month of September. The date will be communicated also. But before then, you need to follow us on all our social media handles. On Facebook, it's Emergence Conference, and on Instagram, it's Emergence Conf, without the ends. Still the Emergence Conference. Once you just type it, you can actually see the pop up. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Perfecting Womanhood. Perfecting Womanhood. So subscribe, have the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, and set your notifications because next month is gonna be the big, big one. Yes, it gets better. I must tell you, it gets better and it can only get better. So, once again, I want to say thank you for being an amazing, amazing audience. My name is Dikachi Pauline, and I will be signing out tonight. But before we do that, this, just like our speaker said, this is one of the, as he was speaking, I was just, getting words of affirmation. I am big on words of affirmation. If you must have noticed, if you have noticed, I am so big on it. And so we just have 3 sentences to make tonight. If you can write it down, please go ahead so that you can have it within you and in you and internalize it. So we go again. And these are the words of affirmation. I speak with purpose and poise. My words empowering myself and others. My voice matters and I use it to uplift, inspire, and make a difference. I communicate confidently, authentically, and unapologetically, embracing my unique personality in Christ. If you got this, then you can write it down. I don't know if you want us to take it again before we wrap up. I don't know if you want us to take it again. We can actually take it again so that if you didn't listen, you can also listen again. So once again, we take it. We say, I speak with purpose and poise, my words empowering myself and others. My voice matters, and I use it to uplift, to inspire, and to make a difference. I communicate confidently, authentically, and unapologetically, embracing my unique personality in Christ. So help me God. Yes, I believe that this has made a big difference in our lives. So, once again, thank you so much for being an amazing and incredible audience. This is me signing out, Dikachi Pauline, once again. Do have an amazing time.